Rotation. A rotation is a transformation in which a figure turns, but it does not change in size, slide, or flip. So as a review, you're going to need to know this for rotation. Clockwise goes this way towards the right. Counterclockwise goes the opposite of a clock. So if you think about a clock, you go from 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that's clockwise. The opposite way, going backwards from 12, 11, 10, 9, is counterclockwise. So you're going to need to remember that. Also, you're going to need to remember the quadrants. There are 4 quadrants in a coordinate plane. And so each quadrant is 90 degrees. You can see that because each one of these would be like 90 degrees. So if each one of these was 90, so you have 90, 90, 90, and 90. If you start here and you go here, you've gone 90 degrees. So let's just say you have this little heart here. And if you go 90 degrees, your heart would end up here. So this would be 90 degrees. Then if you started here and then you went to the second one, 90 plus 90 would be 180. So 90 plus 90 is 180. So if you went 2 quadrants, 2 quadrants would be 180 degrees. So from here to here would be 180 degrees. Then if you went 3 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, you have 90 plus 90 plus 90, and that gives you 270. So 3 quadrants is 270 degrees. So if your heart went 3 quadrants, 1, 2, and then 3, you would be going 270 degrees. So again, 1 quadrant is 90, 2 quadrants is 180, and 3 quadrants is 270. And then if you go all the way back to your original, 4 quadrants would be 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 is 360. So it doesn't always stand this way, because if you start here and you go 1 quadrant, this would be 90, this would be 180, this is 270, and this is 360. So just know for every quadrant that you go to, you're just adding 90 more. So rotations are a little bit more difficult than the other 3 translations that we've done so far. And the best way to do it to start off with is we're going to rotate this 180 degrees, and remember 180 is 90 plus 90. So 90 plus 90 is 180. So you're going to go 2 quadrants. So you're going to go 1, 2, there's 290. So we're going to go 2 quadrants. So since this is here, the great thing about 180 is it doesn't matter if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise. So we'll do this one clockwise, and we'll do this one counterclockwise just to show you that it's exactly the same. So on 180, it doesn't matter which way you go. So clockwise, if this is 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, this is clockwise this way. So you have 2 quadrants. If you start here, when you go clockwise, you have 1, then 2. So this right here is the quadrant we're going to end up with our shape in. And if you did 180 counterclockwise,
Devin Lloyd, please come to the front office. Devin Lloyd.
You would start with this one here, and then you would go 1, 2, and you still end up here. So 180, it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. It still puts you in the same place. So I'm going to, all I have is a sheet of paper, and it's just regular lined paper, and I've just ripped the corner out. And so during the SOL test or during an IA test, you're not going to be given anything special, but if you have a sheet of paper, you can just rip off the corner here, and then use this corner to kind of figure out what your shape should look like. So all I'm doing is I'm just tucking this right into this quadrant here, and you can kind of see the shape there. And so if you trace it, that'll help you out. And if it doesn't have letters, I would go ahead and write down just any letters. So I'm just going to write A, B, and C here. And then when I put my shape back, this would be A, B, and C. So if it doesn't give you letters, go ahead and put some letters, and that'll help you out. So when I rotate my quadrant, I'm literally turning my piece of paper. So this becomes 90 degrees clockwise, and then this is 180 degrees clockwise. And if you tuck that right back into that quadrant, it'll show you what it should look like. And you kind of have to go back and look at the original picture. C here was 0, 1. And so C here, C rotated would be 0, -1. So 0, -1 would be C reflected, or I'm sorry, rotated. And then B is over here, so it kind of goes straight. B is -5, 1. And if you can see, this is where B is here. So B would be +5, -1. And then A here is -1, 4. So A would be +1, -4. So +1, -4. So you still kind of have to look at this one to see exactly where to put your points, but at least the little piece of paper helps you figure out more or less where it should end up being. And so this is rotated. And if you rotated this one counterclockwise, it would end up looking the same, like the same thing. So here's your original shape. 180 degrees counterclockwise is 1 and 2. And so it's exactly the same. Looks exactly the same. So you would have C here translated, and then B translated here, and then A translated back here. So it's exactly the same. So I put this one here so you can see it doesn't matter which way you go for 180 degrees. Now this one says that it's 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. So 90 degrees clockwise. So here's our shape here. 90 degrees is going one quadrant. So it's either going to end up here or here, depending if it's going clockwise or counterclockwise. This does say clockwise, so if you're a clock, you go 1 o'clock or 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is clockwise going this way. And so if this is where our quadrant is here, and we go 90 degrees clockwise, that'll put us here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rip off another little corner of my paper. And I'm going to tuck this corner right here. And I'm going to trace it as carefully as I can, because if you're kind of messy with this, it's not going to really help you. So try to do it as neatly as possible. So I'm just going to put whatever letters A, B, and C. And then I'm going to write them here also, A, B, and C. So now we said that we're going to go 90 degrees clockwise. 90 degrees is one quadrant, and clockwise is this way. So I'm going to notice how I'm keeping this corner right here of my paper. I'm literally leaving it right there, and I'm just turning it, going this way, just turning it. So when I do that, this is what my shape is going to look like. And again, you kind of have to use this to figure out exactly where it goes. So A here was -2, 0. So this looks like it would be right on also on 2, 0. I'm sorry, 0, 2. So this is -2, 0. Then this would be 0, 2. Then C is at 0, -3. So this C would be -3, 0. And then B is at -4, -3. So this would be -3, +4. Because you can kind of see, if you lift this, that it lands up on the 4. So -3, 4. And so this is this shape